Here we are entering the peak season for winter illnesses with a highly contagious stomach bug spiking across the U.S. The CDC says norovirus cases have nearly doubled this month compared to last year. The virus spreads through contaminated food, but can also be spread by someone infected with the bug or by touching contaminated surfaces. And the symptoms come on fast. Most people experience sudden vomiting or diarrhea, stomach cramping, fevers, headaches, muscle weakness, and it could create more issues if you become dehydrated. Let's bring in Dr. Jayne Morgan, who is a cardiologist and serves as the Vice President of Medical Affairs at Hello Heart. Dr. Morgan, great to see you as always. So a
Great to see you,
surge of
Nichole.
norovirus, is this normal for this time, or as a physician, are you concerned at all?
You know, we do see these surges, especially in the winter months, and the norovirus follows all of its cousins, these other viruses that surge during this period of time. But we are seeing more cases. And so we want to make certain that people understand how it spread, what we call the fecal oral route, meaning that it also comes from our feces and then contaminated surfaces and touching our mouths as well.
So people definitely need to wash their hands, as I hear that. How long, Dr. Morgan, do people usually stay sick with norovirus?
Now, this virus, you usually stay sick for 3 or 4 days, and it's what many people call the stomach flu. And unlike COVID or the flu, where you still may board flights and choose to travel and do other things, even though you are sick and also contagious, you will not have that privilege with this norovirus. It is violent vomiting, oftentimes violent diarrhea. You will be stuck where you are near a bathroom. And we want to make certain that people hydrate because you will lose a large volume of fluid from your body. You want to make certain that you stay hydrated. That doesn't mean coffee, doesn't mean alcohol, it doesn't mean tea. That means water and electrolytes to really keep up your fluid and your body volume while you're losing these fluids.
And hearing those symptoms there, who is most at risk? And is there a point within this illness where maybe you should go seek professional care?
You know what? Those are good questions. And especially the holiday season, we're out and about, we're with families. And one area that I like to talk about that's generally overlooked is that guest towel in the guest bathroom. The reason is because it's spread via the fecal oral route, it doesn't mean that your hands aren't clean after you use the bathroom, but such microscopic levels are required to make you violently ill that you literally could use the towel that someone else used ahead of you, who also their hands weren't dirty, but they cleaned them on that towel, and then you use the same towel to dry your hands. And so we want to make certain that people understand it does survive for long periods of time on these surfaces. And I often say that guest bath towel is one of the biggest culprits.
I have to say, as I'm sitting here listening to you, Dr. Morgan, I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching anything
That's right.
anymore. My last question for you, we're talking obviously about the norovirus, but what about other illnesses? It is cold and flu time. I mean, is it too late at this point to be vaccinated against things like the flu, against COVID?
You know, and that's such a great question. When we see this bird flu, as my grandmother would say, brewing, right? Not yet a threat to the human population, but it is brewing, and we need to keep an eye on it. We have vaccine candidates for the bird flu, but nothing yet available from the FDA. And so, one of the things you can do to protect yourself is make certain you get immunized against the flu and against COVID, such that if you were contaminated with the bird flu, you don't have multiple viruses in your body at the same time, increasing your risk of illness and death, as well as we continue to watch this bird flu, unfortunately, continue to move and propagate. And we're concerned about those mutations in that patient in Louisiana who has new mutations. And we're also concerned about human to human transmission. Haven't seen that yet in the United States, but we do have documented cases across the world. So we are keeping an eye on it because it's probably more prevalent here than we know,
Yeah.
and we are tracking these cases now.
Yeah, keeping an eye on all of it. Going into 2025, apparently not touching anything. That is the goal. Dr. Morgan, so great to speak with you. Happy New Year to you.
Nice to see you. Happy New Year, Nichole.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.